Hi, this is Bob Gecewich from Dublin Jerome High School in Dublin Jerome. Today I'm going to be talking about our football program, more so from a cultural perspective, and how we got player buy-in through core values, off-season missions, and identity. So first of all, Dublin Jerome. Dublin, Ohio has three high schools. Jerome is the newest of the three schools in the district. This was its 15th anniversary this year. It's an extremely, extremely high academic school. People move into the area particularly for the academics. I know before we had left for break, we had already had 16 perfect ACTs this year alone, and it's March. So double-digit perfect ACTs and national merit scholars. Last year, I think we had 31 or 35 national merit scholars in the district, and 27 of them came from Jerome. We have kids that opt out of PE for extra AP and IB courses. We're a school that kind of gets made fun of as in everyone gets a trophy because we don't do class rank. But when you dig into that, it makes a lot of sense. We can have kids that have 4.2s and they're like in the 15th, they're ranked below the 15%. So academics are extremely, extremely important in our school. It's a very affluent school district. We have a lot of high level CFOs, CEOs, lawyers, doctors in the district. It's a diverse student body. We have a lot of Indian, Southeast Asian students, and we have kids from all over the world and the countries. I think in Dublin, we have a considerable amount of students where English is their second language. Traditionally, Jerome, kind of following suit with that, has been successful in tennis, golf, lacrosse, and cheer. Not necessarily your traditional, what you think of high school sports. So 2004 to 2014, before we got here, so in that 10-year span, they had 2 playoff appearances and 1 league title. 2010 to 2014, the 5 years before we got here, and we've been here 5, there was 1 winning season, a little bit over 4 wins per year. And we took over the program with just around 70 players, 9 through 12th grade in the program. They had actually canceled their freshman football season. We got there in 2015. We've been there for 5 seasons. We've made the playoffs 3 out of the 5 years. We've been fortunate enough to win the only playoff games in school history. We've won 3 league titles in those 5 years, and we've been runner-up twice. The only outright title in school history, 4 winning seasons, 1 500 season, which is going to eat at me until I'm 95. 3 one-score games, can't lose those. 7.4 wins per year. But probably the most important part, and what we're going to spend today talking about, is we have over 100 players in the program, 9 through 12. My goal is to have 4 teams, 9 through 12. Now, whether that's 2 freshman teams at JV and a varsity, or probably more likely a freshman team, 2 JVs, and a varsity, that's the goal for our program. That's what I think is going to help push our program the other way, right? So how do we get there? How did we get to where we're at? And how are we going to push forward? It's pretty simple. We need player buy-in and player value. So players need to have value in being a part of the Dublin Jerome Celtic football program. So the first thing that we do, and actually this is a talk unto itself, so I'm going to move off of this pretty quickly. But our kids know our core values. They apply to football, they apply to school, they apply to life. And I'll talk about a leadership committee that we have. And 2 years ago, those guys helped me come up with this. What are 3 things we can be held accountable to in every aspect that we have the most control over, right? We talk about missions versus goals, right? Your goals, hey, I want to be the leading tackler in the league. Well, you know what? That's dependent on a lot of things. 1, you staying healthy. 2, are people going to run the ball at you? We had a really good outside linebacker. Should have been defensive player of the league. Don't worry, I'm not holding a grudge on that at all. But he didn't have the stats because everyone ran away from him. Okay. What if your defensive tackles, you're a Mike, and your defensive tackles keep getting blown up and single blocked? You're not going to lead the league in tackles. Okay. But what's your mission? Hey, I'm going to read my keys right every time. I'm going to work extremely hard. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, right? Don't tell me you're going to be the valedictorian. It's great to have that goal, but how are you going to get there? What's the mission? So that's what we look at with our core values, and we can hold people accountable to this. Relentless effort, the ball, fight and finish. Okay, so for us in football, relentless effort's really easy, right? Pursuit on both sides of the ball. If you're a wide receiver, are you running downfield trying to get a block? Are you chasing the play? So that's your relentless effort there. On defense, your pursuit is really easy. How close are you to the ball? Are you taking the right angle? Are you trying? Are you working to get off of the blocks? Okay, so that's how it applies to football. How's it apply to school? Did you study? Did you try? Did you turn everything in? Okay, did you talk to that teacher? Did you get extra help? And how's it work in life? Okay, are you going after your dreams? Are you giving it all of the energy? Okay, don't tell me that you want to be the most successful businessman and then you get home and you play Madden for 6 hours. You don't want to be the most successful businessman. You don't have relentless effort. You're not getting after it. Okay, now you may fall short, but you can control the effort and the time and the commitment that you put into it. The ball, right? We've got to protect it and we've got to take it away in football. Pretty simple. It's a conscious decision to make those efforts. Okay, in school, what's the ball? The ball's the diploma. Okay, the ball is the class, graduating from the class. It's going on to a tech school or a college or graduating high school with the opportunity to go to a trade school and work in a trade. Okay, that's the ball. What is it in life? Okay, what do you value? It's the material portion of life, right? And it's okay to have material aspirations. Okay, so material, like for me, I've always wanted kids. So the ball for me was to have a family. And that's really, really important to me, to have a family and be a good father. Okay, so that's the ball for me. Money would be nice, but that's what I ranked over that. Some people, they want to make a lot of money and they want to have a lot of things, and that's 100% okay as well. That's the ball. The ball is the bag. Okay, gotta get the bag, and then fight and finish, and that's really what we base our entire program off of. And we'll look at that with identity. Is fight and finish. We can't control how big we are. We can't control our genetics. We can't control how athletically gifted we are. We can work, we can develop, we can try, but at the end of the day, 5'6" is 5'6". Okay, you can't get in the weight room and just turn 6'5" overnight. Okay, so in football, fight and finish. Are you doing everything that you can? Are you working as hard as you can for as long as you can until you can't give anymore? That's the most important thing in our program, and that's what we look for. If you do that, I'm happy and I'm proud. Okay, if you fold and you give up and you give us less, if you just stick your toe in and you're afraid to fail, you can't play for us. You got to go all out all the time. We've started defensive tackles in a Division I schedule that weigh under 170 pounds. Those dudes fought like crazy. Okay, that's what they did. There were 2 years where we didn't have a single player on defense over 200 pounds. And we'll probably have the same exact scenario this year. But I'll tell you what, those dudes fly around and they hit you and they'll fight you. Okay, finish. Are we trying to drive the pile over? If we're linemen, are we just standing there and we're watching our quarterback fight for extra yards, or are we hopping on his back and we're shoving him over? Okay, in school, fight and finish. Pretty easy. Did you do the assignment the whole way, or did you do it halfway? Did you study all the way, or did you not? Okay, did you finish that quiz? Whatever it is, did you go through and did you fight through that and try to finish that? And in life, right? Life's going to throw us curveballs. Are you still fighting? Are you still finishing? My wife may wake up one day and realize, God, I married this loser. Okay, but we're going to finish and we're going to try. Okay, I might get fired tomorrow from my coaching job. Okay, but I fought like crazy for that job, and I'm going to finish the job. They fire me tomorrow, I'm still going to do inventory. I'm still going to make sure everything's in great shape, because that's what you do. When you commit to something, you fight and you finish. So those are our core values. That's something that I could speak for hours and hours on. But we're going to move on from there because we really want to look at buy-in from our players. But these are the 3 things. These are the only 3 things that are written on our board in our locker room and stay on the board in the locker room. Yeah, we'll draw some things up, or we'll put a time reminder, or, kids who are taking ACT on Saturday, they write their names up there. But relentless effort, the ball, fight and finish, those are always up there because those are things that we can control and we can commit to. So off-season missions, what are our missions? 1, we've got to give kids a reason to be a part of the program. So we have 100 plus kids in our program. Some years we play like 30 kids on a Friday night. Some years we play 19 kids on a Friday night. What do those other 81 kids get out of being a part of that program, right? Why do they stick around? Why do they show up every day? Why are they at practice on a Tuesday, week 9, if they haven't seen a lick of varsity football? We've got to give them a reason to be a part of the program. We've got to set the tone for the program, okay? And that comes from the coaches. The program becomes who you are. You go and you watch programs. If a guy's disheveled and a guy's a blowhard and he's fake, his program's not going to stick through tough times. If that guy's honest and he's committed and he's convicted, right, his program's going to stick it through those tough times. And that comes from the coach. Look, I'm not a line on the or toes on the line kind of guy. I'm a little haphazard. I'm a little reckless with some things. Okay. You come to one of our practices, we've got music blaring. We've got dudes, we've got linemen that are playing one-on-one, trying to score touchdowns on each other. We've got wide receivers. They're trying to kick field goals. They're just messing around, putzing around. We're okay with that because the second that whistle blows, we go and we go hard. And that's what we do. That's important to us. Us all wearing the same stuff at practice, not important to us. Okay, so we set the tone and we're consistent with that. Give players a voice. Our players have to have a voice. Okay, they have to have some level of control within the program. And we'll look at that a little bit more and how we do that. It's got to be more than football. We teach a character/leadership class, and I kind of hesitate to say that we teach it. We have a leadership board, and that leadership board, they come to me and we work through, hey, what are the topics that we're going to talk about? And then we talk about it. And it's a very, very open class. It's actually probably the most awesome thing that we do because it's on Tuesdays before we lift in the summer, and it's 100% optional. And kids show up and kids share, and I share, and we're very honest and we're very vulnerable. And we talk about our lives and our concerns and things like that. And it's really, really good. And then family. Like I said, family is very, very important to me. So my daughters are on the sideline with our cheer team during home games, right? They're out there during some of our practices and our scrimmages. They come to our 7-on-7s. This is the first year that our son was the ball boy, and he's out around the team. And I think that's really, really important for our guys to see. And not only that, I think it's made me a better coach because these guys aren't just X's and O's. They're somebody's kids. They're somebody's family. And I don't think that we can lose sight of that. Compete. We compete like crazy. We find any and every way that we can compete. So in the weight room, we compete. Hey, I can lift more than you, or I could do one more rep. But we'll talk about throwdown Thursdays. We split our team in half in practice, or we set up scenarios where, hey, it's 3rd and 1. We've got to get this. Defense, you get the first picks this time, and offense will go. We split our teams up for 7-on-7s. We go to 7-on-7s, and if we can get 3 teams, we get 3 teams. If we can only get 2, we get 2. We don't care who's on what team. The option is you compete, okay? It's an opportunity to showcase and to fight and finish. If we go 0-10, we go 0-10. Did we work as hard as we could, okay? We're not worried about hoisting a 7-on-7 trophy at the end of the day. We're worried about getting reps and letting every kid compete. Fun. This game has got to be fun. I think coaches often forget that this is a game. We take ourselves way, way, way too serious, man. I've got a couple of text chains that I work with some other coaches, and I've got to constantly remind myself this thing's supposed to be fun. You know what's not fun is sending kids all these quizzes and tests and things like that in January about football and making them study and making them do up downs if they didn't watch film in the off season and things like that. That's not fun. So let's make this game fun. Support players and the student body. Okay. And I'm always going to err on kids over adults. So we try to pull in our faculty and we try to do things like that. We try to bring in the community. But at the end of the day, if we can get elementary kids, middle school kids, and our student body involved and invested in the program, awesome. At the end of the game, I talk to my team, and half the time the student body's on the field, and they're down there with us. I show up to girls' basketball games. I take my kids to softball and baseball games, hockey games, all those sorts of things, because I want that student body out there helping us. I want them out there supporting our guys. And we may get 2 or 3 kids from that, but at the end of the day, that's part of the high school experience. Support players. We've got a kid who's an Eagle Scout. I'm going to go to a celebration here this spring, and it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be awesome. Our kids, it's something like 97% of our roster plays another sport. I can't talk about, hey, I want multiple sport kids without encouraging them and showing up and supporting them in that. So we support kids over anything else. This was our third year at Jerome, okay? But if I took this picture today, it'd be exactly the same. These are all the kids in just our 10 through 12 program who played another sport in high school. Okay, so we don't just talk about it. Our dudes, I went through the roster before I looked to do this presentation. We only have 20% of our roster that I would consider football first guys. Most of our guys are baseball and lacrosse kids. And those are some unique cultures, and there's some positive things to take from those, but there's some things that you need to kind of siphon out and put in your own culture. But this is just a picture of our guys that play other sports. And we show up and we support those guys. We tweet about them winning in those games, all that kind of stuff. This is our student section. This was week 10. Week 10 in Ohio is not nice weather. We were away. The game was probably about 45 minutes away. Friday night, cold weather. The team that we were playing was struggling, so probably wasn't going to be a great game. Still had a lot of kids show up. My wife at halftime went. She counted up how many kids were there. She went with another teacher that we know, and they bought as much hot chocolate as they could for those kids. Support those kids, right? Put a little bit of a dent in our bank account, but look at those dudes. They're happy, except for this dude. This dude doesn't seem too happy. But the rest of them are happy. They're having fun. They're supporting our guys. It's pretty awesome. Okay. Number one, showing up here, right? Losing culture. What's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to build a weight room culture. Weight room must be a priority. There's no question, no option. It's not, hey, go to a personal trainer. Hey, I'll see. No. We lift together because we want to hang out. We want to be around each other. Celebrate any growth at all. We don't have a 1,000-pound club. Okay, I got a lot of kids that will never reach that. I was reading an article about Kirtland, and they kill it in the weight room, and great for them. That's what they do, and that works for them. What works for us is celebrating the piss out of any and every growth that our kids have. Okay, that's freshman. I mean, when we see a freshman put a 45-pound plate on for the first time, a sophomore put a 45-pound plate on for the first time, you'd think that they benched 505. I'm losing my mind because I remember what it was like being in the weight room. And the first time you threw that on, man, that was a special day. That was a huge day. That was a big day. We got kids that walk in at 95 pounds, okay? What do I think their goal is going to be? How can we do this, right? And it may be the first time that they go and do skull crushers and they can use the actual bar, which is 45 pounds. I'm going to celebrate that. I'm going to pull them aside, and I'm going to dap them up, love them up, and I'm going to have some older kids do the same thing. Bricklayers Union. So we have something called the Bricklayers Union, right? So we're very much a white-collar community. We wanted to build a blue-collar, no-collar mentality in our football program. So the Bricklayers Union is a group of guys that show up and commit. And that's all you got to do. You got to show up, you got to commit, you got to work hard. But you can't buy the shirts. You can't buy your way into the union. You got to earn your way into the union. And we buy a lot of shirts, and those guys get those shirts. And I get dads every year that, hey, can I get one of those shirts? Absolutely not. You're not in our program. You didn't show up to the weight room. You didn't show up to practice. You didn't come to those things. These guys did. They're in the union. They're bricklayers. Throwdown Thursday. So we lift Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Throwdown Thursday, we have at least one competition every day. Try things. We'll look at some pictures. Some of them are dumb ideas. And those are the ones that the kids get most behind. Some of them, we kind of, it looks great. We think we're American gladiators. And then they play those games. And we walk away and we're like, man, we got really fortunate no one got hurt. And then themes. Man, I know a lot of curmudgeons in this business. Why is there got to be a theme to go to a football game? Because it's fun. So in the summer, we do themes. Every Thursday, we do a theme. So we have like throwback. We have Jersey Day. We have America out. My favorite ones, the rest are out. We'll look at that one. That one's kind of funny to see what kids come up with on that one. Like a lot of guys my age, I grew up a WWE fan when it was still WWF. So we see some pretty cool things there. So first came in, we painted, put in a new floor, painted on the wall, pride is earned, right? You can't tell me that you're proud to be a Dublin Jerome Celtic, right? You can't tell me that. You got to show me that. The weight room, typically on a day in the summer, we average 85 to 86 kids in the weight room. We go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday because a lot of our families take vacations. The majority of our kids play some kind of a travel sport in the summer. So it kind of works around that. So to average that 86 kids is really, really good for us. Shirts, talked about shirts. So here, this is just something that we gave our linemen and our tight ends and fullbacks. They get their own special shirt. But over here, these are just examples of our bricklayers shirts. So Homegrown, Jerome Bricklayers Union, 365. We've got some schools in Central Ohio, like we do anywhere else, that they can't say they're homegrown, right? Every year they get 2, 3, 4 2, 3, 4 kids that happen to move in and happen to be really, really good at a sport. We don't do that. We build and develop the kids that we have, and we're extremely proud of that. Okay. Over here, 2 different years, right? The Bricklayers Union found a little logo that we liked, threw that on there, and these are just for dudes that work like crazy. Guys that commit, guys that show up every single day. They're not missing days. They don't have excuses, right? They're there and they work hard. And it's amazing what kids will do for a shirt and to be a part of that group. Those guys also, they eat first. They do things like that. So competitions, okay? So a couple of things we got going here. Up here, we're in the wrestling room, so they're all in a circle. This is King of the Ring. Now, the rule in King of the Ring was you have to keep your knees on the ground. You have to be diligent as a coach because you'll get someone trying to powerbomb someone. As this gets smaller, you move them into the small one. And you also see strategy, right? Who's going to push the big guy out first? Up here, this is sock wrestling. So they actually started standing up. And each one, if you see the little red thing in the sock, they're trying to pull a little red rag out of the sock. And that means that you win. 4-way tug of war, right? Everyone does tug of war. We have this big ball. I have no clue what it's for. Okay, no clue what it's for. But we put a guy on each side of that ball, and we told him you have to push him 5 yards. And guys get after it now. They go after it. Here, this one down here with the Chicago Bulls here, this was rock, paper, scissors tag. So you go rock, paper, scissors. If you win rock, paper, scissors, you have to turn and sprint 5 yards. If you lose, you have to touch that guy before he gets to 5 yards. And whoever gets there wins. Different way to do tug of war, right? We have 2 different ropes, and you're each holding one. Here, we call this skinny sumo, okay? Your feet can't go out of that circle or you lose. So that's here. Tiger tug of war, you got to pull the ball off. Another sumo wrestling over here, right? You're not allowed to hip toss. You got to push or move out of the way. This is what we call a totem pole dodgeball, right? We got dudes hanging from the rafters over here, screaming, clanging weights on that. So 2 ways that you lose. Obviously, you get hit by the ball, you're out. If you step off of the totem pole, you're out. Okay? Totem pole tug of war, same thing. Over here, it's kind of like sumo wrestling, except now we have half shields. Here, curl off. So we had the whole group take just the bar, and for 60 seconds, they curled as many times as they could. These 2 were the winners. So they had to curl off, and we had the team split and choose who they thought was going to win. What they did, Derek would curl once, Noah would curl once. Derek would curl once, Noah would curl once. Now, it sounds like it lasts forever, but these dudes are worn out, okay? Down here, this is one of those ones where you're like, man, that seemed like a great idea. But as you can see the picture, you're like, I don't know if I really like our starting safety flying to the ground in the weight room. But they had to stand on the agile bags. They had half bags, and all they had to do was get the guy to step off. Tony kind of blasted Dalton there. And then here, we're just playing sprint tic-tac-toe, okay? So it doesn't matter the distance. You put a tic-tac-toe board down. They sprint. They pick up a cone. They drop it in. And the first one to get 3 in a row wins. Other guys got up-downs or push-ups or something like that. Tug of war, right? Nothing major. Here, and they're called push-up slaps. So you're in a push-up. You want to get that guy to put his arm down or his knee down. And then randomly throughout this process, like we did this one day, and this was the end of a cycle, and we had Sundays at the end of the practice or at the end of the lifting session, right? Why did we have Sundays? Because I told the kids, I said, there's no way that you guys are going to be able to do wall sits for 3 minutes. And with the exception of 2 guys who I chose to ignore because I knew that their strength wasn't there, everyone made it those 3 minutes. So that next week, that next Thursday after throwdown, we took 1 or 2 workouts out and we went and ate ice cream. They're kids, man. They're kids. Let them be kids. Here, they're just holding each side of the barbell, and whoever has to put it down first loses. We have little flags in the waistband. You got to pull those out, and if you pull both of them out, you win. Here, it looks a little bit like a lumberjack match. Isaiah's trying to run away. They're throwing him back in. This one is either an ingenious idea or a god-awful idea. So we call this battle ball. So if you think back to American Gladiators, right, they had those little cans that they had to dump a ball in. So we take an old volleyball, and you've got to be on your knees. And you go, and there's one on each side, and you do whatever you have to do to score. Now, you have to make rules, right? You have to stay off the head. If you get tied up, I decide who gets the ball. Kids absolutely love this game. We've actually trailed away from playing it the past 2 years. Last summer, it was because the wrestling room was getting worked on. And then the one before that, we were just rail thin. And I was like, man, I'm going to be really mad at myself if someone gets hurt in July playing that game. But it's a fun game. Themes. I couldn't even tell you what this theme was. These guys just look like clowns. Over here's Jersey Day. Okay. We got White Chocolate, Jason Williams over here. We got some Bill Lambier, Larry Bird. We got the whole Toon Squad. Up here's Throwback. We got a lot of kids wearing their youth football jerseys up here. Their DYA basketball jersey. Okay, an old LeBron jersey. Got a little bit of everything in there. And then over here's our Wrestler Day. So we got guys actually wearing our school wrestling gear. We had a lot of Hulk Hogan's for whatever reason that year. This guy thought he was John Cena. Unfortunately, didn't have the body of it. Tony and Nambi just wore whatever looked goofy, and that's what they wore in there that day. So don't be afraid to have fun. We had Liftmas this year. It was a huge success. My family came in. We threw up Christmas lights. We made a playlist in there. We found a lot of stuff. We had some alumni come back. They got the back rack over there. Wife made 300 cookies. Had a bunch of other stuff going on. So that's that. And then celebrate your guys. I saw Cincinnati do this, and it was such a good idea. And I believe that they were actually playing Navy. We play Derby every year, and Derby runs power football and triple option football. So what I did was I took a scout team, and I taught those guys triple option. And we worked as best as you can teach guys triple option in a day. And that was the scout team every single day. And we celebrated like crazy if we got 2-3 offensive yards. Okay. And we went absolutely nuts, but we wound up winning that game this year. And that's always a tough battle. And we loved these guys up like crazy, tweeted out their names, gave them the thanks for preparing us that week, send that out. And that may be the only time these guys ever get public recognition. Okay. Worst job in high school football, scout team running back, and Nate Kirk's done a great job for us. So he needs that public recognition, and you help him out. Team builders. How else do you create buy-in? So our guys are having fun in the weight room. They're having fun in the off season. It doesn't feel like work. Okay. What else do? We do team builders. We do a boot camp. We do summer teams. So in our summer teams, we had our team captains kind of pick teams, and then we kept score throughout the summer. Hogs and Hybrids is a chicken wing eating contest. We rent out a pool, and we feed our guys like crazy. So renting out a pool, hey, coach, I can't do that. A lot of money. Fine $500. Rent out a city pool for 2 hours. Your kids are going to absolutely love it, man. Talk to the city pool. Hey, see if they'll help you out. You'd be surprised at how many people are willing to help with some of these things. So the boot camp was cool. We actually have an obstacle course not too far away from the school. So what we did here, obviously we had a relay through the obstacle course, really awesome. Here we had what we called our prison yard workout, right? They had to do so many dips, so many pull-ups, so many push-ups, okay? And while they were doing that, everyone else on their team had to do planks. So when this guy's done doing pull-ups, he gets off, this guy jumps up. And each team had to do like 500 of them or whatever it was. It was a good day. It was a good change up from our workout. It was well worth missing out that day on our squats and our bench to go and do that stuff. The pool, right, gives our guys a chance to be together, but outside of football. So we rent it out. We go there when everyone's done with it. You have to make sure that your guys are following the rules. They're not being puds so that you keep coming back. But it's an awesome time. Our kids love it. They look forward to it. Our freshmen coming into the program want to be a part of that, want to do that as well. This was one of our teams. They won, so I brought them Bob Evans breakfast. And over here is the Hogs and Hybrids Championship. Quaker Steak loses some money that day. But it's awesome. It's a bonding experience. So the way that Hogs and Hybrids works is our linemen and our linebackers and our tight ends and fullbacks are allowed to go. Anyone else that wants to be a part of it has to petition to our committee. And our committee are usually our 2 or 3 biggest linemen. So our quarterbacks always want to come. They got to petition to them. If they're a tough quarterback, they're allowed to come. If they're a pretty boy quarterback, they usually get shut out from the event. They're not allowed to go. Player ownership in your program, huge. You want buy-in, you better give them something, okay? So program and self-evaluations. And I set the tone with this where these guys can be completely honest because I'm completely honest with them. Something goes wrong, I'm the first one to throw myself under the bus. I tell them when I screw up, and I tell the whole team. I tell them why I was wrong and what I'm going to do to fix it. But on those program and self-evaluations, right, they give us some crucial stuff. The number one question is, what's the number one thing you would do to improve this program? And you get some really good insight from your guys. And you've got to understand they're the ones that are playing, so their insight matters. But also on there is in 4th and 1, who do you trust the most in this program? And the answers that we get from that create the player board. So that creates the majority of the player board. And we try to keep it between 4 to 8 guys. And that player board meets 6 times in the off season before school lets out. So you got those guys in there that they picked, but then you also pick guys. And when you meet with them that first time, you tell them why you picked them. Hey, you were picked by your teammates. You were picked by your teammates. Hey, you're going into your sophomore year, and I think kids look up to you, but I think you can go either way. You can either lead us in a negative way if you're not playing, or you can lead us in a positive way. Hey, you're going into your junior year, and this is kind of that year where you're on the fringe of being a varsity starter for us. It may happen, may not happen. Regardless, I need to make sure that you and guys like you are bought in, so I need your input on this stuff. Give them control of things. They actually break down our practice. What works, what doesn't work, okay? They tell me what we're going to talk about in those leadership and character classes. I actually let them evaluate the coaches. That first meeting, they literally just tear apart the program. They leave. I cry under a table for all first period. Then I pull myself together and I start looking at it. And all right, this has value, this has value, this has value. But I tell them what I think has value and what doesn't, and we talk about it. And we see why they think those things. And then they get control of little things. I don't care what uniforms we wear. We've got a couple of different combinations. We got 3 different pants. We got 2 different home jerseys, and then just 1 away jersey. I don't care what the combination is. I don't care what we wear to school on Friday. You guys pick that. You tell me what we're going to do. So there's a balanced structure. I think it's really, really important to meet them where they are. So everyone on our player board plays another sport. So that helps us when we plan our summer. Hey, do you guys have a lacrosse tournament this weekend? Do you have anything for baseball here? Do you have anything for basketball, right? So you meet them where they're at, and then you take them where they need to be. What are you willing to give control over? And what do you absolutely need to have control of? I'm not a control freak in most things, but other things I am. Be open with the guys. Tell them, hey, this is something that we're not going to waver on. Our core values, we're never going to waver on those things. Some of the things in practice, we're always going to do. We've got kids that want to hit every single day. I've got to explain to them why we're not going to do it. So we look at those things. We go for it on a lot of 4th downs, okay? I've got to explain to those guys why we do that, why that's a part of who we are as a program, okay? So with that, so that player board, then I take 4 guys from that player board and they pick teams. And these guys compete over the offseason. So what do they compete of in the summer, okay? Attendance, effort. And effort, we could say that's hard to judge. It's really not. We have a coach pick a guy from each team one day in the weight room who went the hardest. And look at that. GPA, both the team and the individual health challenges. So I'll grab a random guy from each team and I'll say, hey, show me the screen time for today. Show me your screen time for the week, and let's look. Okay. Hey, what'd you have for breakfast? Whoever gives me the best answer, they get that point for that day. Team competitions, throwdown Thursdays, due to the day. Was there a guy in the weight room that really stood out? Was there a guy in camp who really stood out? Involvement, right? What do those guys do outside of it? And then weight room growth. Are they getting better? Are they not getting better? So that's a lot of what we do as a program, okay? And that's a lot of what we do at the end of the day. How we build that buy-in and how we go about those things. And I could go in a lot more depth with those things. The last piece is our identity. So I told you about what Jerome is and what that community is. Very, very wealthy. It's like $450 to get into a house there. Not necessarily what you think of as a football community, okay? So you've got to look at your identity and who you're going to be. First thing and most important thing, and coaches, stop trying to be someone else. Be you. Be you, okay? We've got to be us, unapologetically and honestly. I'm never going to say we're the best practicing team in America, because we're not. I drove out to Minster's practice. They're the best practicing team in America. They've got the best energy. They've got the best effort, the best speed, everything. They don't waste a second of practice. I go to Hartley. Hartley doesn't do that. Hartley wastes a lot of time, but they're a really, really good football team, and they're really, really bought in. We're probably more so along the lines of Hartley. We're trying to become a really good football team, but we're bought in. When we've got to focus, we focus. So don't say you're something that you aren't, okay? You've got to know who you are, and you've got to preach that, and you've got to get kids to believe it. Okay, the program reflects the coaches. Who are you, and what can your team be? So like I said, I don't care what my coaches wear on the sideline. Wear some team issue gear. You want to wear shorts? Wear shorts. You want to wear pants? Wear pants. I don't care. You want to wear your polo this week? Wear your polo. You want to wear a zip up? Wear a zip up. We're not coordinating. Okay, we're not all going to get on LL Bean and buy the same exact color of khakis, because that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the effort and energy that you bring. And I'll call our coaches out in front of the kids just as fast as I'll call the kids out. They know that, but the kids know that. So we have a culture of accountability. Tim Goodwin's the head football coach at Marion Local, and we were talking about, the guy kept asking a million questions. And Tim made a good comment that I firmly believe in. He said, it's not the minutia, it's the mentality. Now, we can fight until the end of the day, and we can both be right, and we can both be wrong. But I firmly believe that it's not the minutia in football. It's the mentality. Yes, you have to be sound. You have to know your answers. You have to be really, really good. But at the end of the day, man, how do you approach this game? Do you come after it? Do you fight? Do you do all those things? Okay. And then at the end of the day, you want to really know what your identity is, right? And we could sit up here and you can give a talk about, hey, we're this team or we're that team and all those things. Ask your kids. That's your proof. So if I were to tell you who I thought we were today, I tell you that we're scrappy, that we fight. Sometimes we kind of step over the line, but we have to, and we're willing to do that. So I asked our kids, and these were the words that came up the most. We compete. We're resilient. We persevere. We're homegrown. We fight. We're bricklayers. And when our kids talk about bricklayers, they talk about taking pride in building things. We're tenacious. We're honest. We're fair. We're scrappy. And then honestly, my favorite one is that we're ignorant. And that's not ignorant in a bad way. We line up against some dudes. Our second year, we played Westerville South, and they had 7 FBS football players. 4 of them wound up playing at Big Ten schools, 2 of them at Ohio State. If I were to schedule Mentor and St. Xavier and, Elder, our kids would have no clue. They just show up and they play football. They don't care how many stars you have. They don't care, what your record is. Now, we may get our teeth kicked in, but we're ignorant. We're going to line up and we're going to play. Our 5'6" corner is going to play against your 6'5" guy. And when he tips that ball away, he's going to celebrate and he's going to be happy. Okay? And he's going to play as hard as humanly possible. This is who we are. And this is what we enforce. And it all starts from player buy-in and giving those guys a say. Look, like I said, there are a million ways this conversation can go. And I'd love to have it with any of you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Gecewich, GECEWICH_Bob at DublinSchools.net. Or heck, if you want to talk about this stuff, here's my phone number. It's 216-346-6095. Shoot me a text and we'll set up a time and you can tell me what I'm doing wrong and we can bounce ideas off of each other, because at the end of the day, if your football program's not having fun and your kids aren't bought in, I don't know if it's really worth it. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.